Getting ready, let's just switch in and get the music turned off so that we can concentrate on the match at our hand. Alright, so we are going to be playing on the Ghost Lake exactly as has been said. And is there going to be some attempted steal in something? Not really sure. We're going to be seeing pretty soon, I guess. Looking at the civilizations, it's going to be Huns and Mongols for the French. Sito is going to be playing Huns and BZH as Mongols, and then for the Belgium B team it's going to be Spanish and Mongols, Litlio Spanish and Genghis Sam as Mongols. So are going to be the Mongols against each other or not? No, they're not. So Mongols are basically across the map. Whereas, of course, the Huns and Spanish are also going to be across. Not exactly sure what's going to be the better unit choice in here, because from the Spanish we should be probably expecting the Conquistadors, from Mongols some Scout Cavalry, and then a bit later in the Castle Age some Knights. Not a single leg now, definitely great to hear that players are going to be having a bit more comfortable games. And well, we can already see the snow is going to be covered in tracks of all the units as they are. Having apparently a very fresh snow fallen all across the map. So what's gonna happen on this map? What's going to be interesting? Interesting, for example, as far as the map spawn is that the relics are on the ice. That's one, second, and third one. 3 relics in there, whereas the other 2 are going to be on the left of the map, which is going to be between BZH and Sito. So this is basically the French are having 3 relics just to themselves. 1, 2, 3. That's actually quite nice bonus, with the 4th being quite close by. And the Belgians are going to be having just 1 at the very top. And yeah, well, kind of think that it's not going to be mattering all that much. If last game is anything to go by, we could be expecting that the French are going to be quite aggressive and trying to decide the game quite fast. But in the meantime, we don't really see any kind of stealing or anything. Definitely kind of shame, as it's usually quite interesting action in the start of the game. But yeah, this is not going to be the case in this one, as everybody is just going to be interested in having a nice early game and not abusing anything in the game. So otherwise, gold, stone, quite fine, with the base as well to the back of the base for Sito, so it's going to be pretty nice help for him. Otherwise, of course, in the front he's going to be having a very hard time of walling, not only because of the wolfies, but because there's a very large expanse, and because we are on Ghost Lake, and you cannot, of course, build on the ice in the middle of the map. So that makes the map very easy for raiding. And that is something that we want to see, because it makes for a whole lot more interactive games overall. In the meantime, of course, you need to gather as many sheep as possible, so that you actually make sure that you are having a better economy than your opponent. That's the first boar. Is there actually a second one somewhere for him? Right now getting lured in, so yep, that's going to be pretty much fine for him, as he's even going to be milling the deer. Well, they are kind of further away, and at this type of the map, you don't really want to spend your time with the scout pushing the deer, because all you need to do a whole lot more is scout around your opponent and around the middle of the map to see how the map looks like, or rather what the map looks like, and so that you are potentially prepared for what your opponent might be wanting to do to you, and especially who is against you as far as the civilization goes. So it's going to be, of course, against BZH as Mongol, Spanish player Litlio, which means that he doesn't need to worry about any early attack, because the Spanish almost always go for fast castle, dropping a castle in there, and of course for the Conquistador, so he probably doesn't need to worry about that at all, and he might be wanting to actually make use of that, as he could probably go for some early raiding and probably even stop the castle in full if he's successful with that. So let's see what his game plan is going to be in game number 3 of the first round of the Silver League. Pushing the deer right now for blue. He doesn't apparently want to know anything more. He knows enough. Yeah, well, not really. You can see he doesn't know anything at all. He just probably knows that he's going to be against the Mongol, because I'm expecting that actually BZH has scouted that. Not yet, but he's doing his good job of the scouting in there. And yeah, scouting is something that is usually underestimated, because of course, the more you know, the better you are prepared to react to absolutely anything that your opponent is going to be throwing at you. And especially if he isn't scouting as well as you are going to be having just an advantage from that. Okay, I'm going to be switching to a whole map look as the villages are coming in. Genghis Sam advancing quite fast with just 17 villages. Quite interesting indeed, and he's going to be really aggressive, it seems like. Oh, he's going to be thrashing, right? But where is he actually going to be finding? I'm wanting to switch into Sito. Once he actually sees them. Right now he sees them. That's going to be... 5 against... How many? Against 5 as well. But with the scout on top of that, this is just a failure right there. Yeah. And they are just now recognizing that this is going to be a disaster, even before the game began. Right now, he's going to be so far behind that I'm not exactly sure what he's gonna do. He's just going to be attempting to actually save the villagers. At this point, yeah, Sito is just going to be coming back. And even though he is having a bit of actually idle time right now, I'm fairly certain that actually Red has to continue. He simply has to continue, because if he comes back, he's going to be just so far behind, coming with the extra villager to actually have a bit of an advantage in there. The tower is going to be coming up in here. He needs to start right next to the shoreline, and this is really pretty big disaster for it. I'm not exactly sure if he's going to be able to make anything lasting from this, because of course Sito is going to be well prepared, and we should be expecting that he's going to be defending just alright in there. What's happening on the right? So that's going to be barracks, also quite aggressively, but some could be said about BZH, but yeah, it's not that aggressive as from the Grey player. What's actually Grey gonna be doing? Is it gonna be man-at-arms nonsense? No, spearman for him. Against Scout Cavalry definitely makes sense against the Mongol, of course. Because the Mongols usually go for the Scout Cavalry, which is exactly happening, and that's going to be housed for a bit of scouting. And what next from him? Not really sure. But of course those guys are doing their job quite alright, but he will need some extra reinforcements for being a bit more efficient. Yeah, well, this is just a fully task. To be honest, I'm not exactly sure why he's continuing with this course of action, why he isn't actually switching all around and potentially trying to find something at the back or somewhere else. Because it has to be clear to him that at this point, this attack on the woodline is just going to be failing no matter what. He has already lost the villager in there. There was another loss of some life in there as well. Probably another will, would be expecting. And overall, the amount of villages, Genghis Sam is at 19, whereas Sito is at 26. He's at age 26, Little Leo at 25 as well. So yeah, you can already see this is going to be very, very hard for the Genghis Khan, but definitely nice to see that he's not giving up. He's going to be apparently trying to approach it from the back. Oh yeah, this is kind of funny. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 8 to 9. So he's going to be just out of range of the watchtower, it seems like. It's nicely positioned for him. And as the tower is happy dealing with the tower in there, it's probably going to be time to have a look around, as there's going to be another attempt at the tower from Little Leo at the bottom, next to the outpost, so that he sees what his opponent is doing. But in the meantime, of course, the Scout Cavalry guys are just attempting to raid the Grey opponent, and they seem to be quite successful, at least in wasting the time and resources in building the palisades. But yeah, he apparently hasn't been fast enough in dealing with those palisades. Oh, they need to be coming up here very soon. How many is he actually gonna kill? That's going to be about 2, maybe. The third is gonna survive, because he's already under protection of the town center, but still, that was well worth it, and those palisades are just quite big, and there is a way through still. Through the bottom, and does actually Little Leo realize? Not really, right now he should be right now realizing actually that there is a hole. He did go there, he just did have a short look. How's it gonna look? Right now he's gonna come through. In the meantime, before he does, I'm going to be checking what actually Red is doing. He's right now blocking gold. But unfortunately, there's a whole lot bigger gold on the left. And there's absolutely no way that Sito is gonna be letting you actually build more towers than this. And those 3 guys are just going to be dead. Going to be a question of time before those Scout Cavalry guys get rid of them. But of course, needs to be careful about the extra fire from the tower. But yeah, he's just controlling him. And those villagers are just as good as dead. Now the Scouting Cavalry squat in the Red's base, as we are still looking at Teal only trying to get into those stone miners, which kinda makes sense. He could be going into the wood line, but he definitely wants to go into the stone mine, because of course, as the Spanish, it's going to be his lifeline, the stone, into the castle, in the castle age, and if he can prevent that, then he's going to be basically killing his whole game. But yeah, here we go. Surprise is going to be coming in, and yeah, nice palisades. Not really. Not really indeed. So this is going to be horrible. Horrible for you. He just needs to go into some good placement where he can actually fight with all 4 scouts. One villager dead. Scouts are... this is nice kiting by BZH. Very nicely done. Very nicely done indeed. So that's going to be villager dead, and the last villager is gonna die as well. And it's not even gonna cost the last scout cavalry in there. So this was very nice micro, and it's definitely paying off. In the meantime, of course, there is a bit of fun that Little Yo is having with this opponent inside his own base. He's still trying to drop towers all across the place, and he's definitely succeeding with that. And it's something that BZH shouldn't be underestimated, even though he did get some pretty juicy kills in there. He mustn't underestimate this fact, because he could be strangled on the resources himself. And yeah, well, he might be needing a bit of help from his ally pretty soon. In the meantime, the ally seems to be doing a good job as far as the towers stopping capabilities go. And well, he does have the scout cavalry himself, but unfortunately for him they are kind of useless inside his base because of the towers. But he can still be quite successful in getting rid of the villagers inside a red base itself. So castle age for BZH. Little Yo absolutely nowhere near advancing into the next age. And looking at the economies, you can just see the Belgium B 28 and 21 villagers, whereas ROR, BZH and Cito, the French are at 39 and 36, so they are having almost a double economy. 1/3 more and a double more. And yeah, you can see right now he's going to be killing all the villages on the stone. So nothing really all that great for the boom in the next age. And he's not even going to be allowed to gather from this gold mine. So still continuing trying to get desperately on the stone miners. Trying to prevent the castle at absolutely all costs. And it seems like that it's going to be working. That's quite probably right about now. Yeah, he does have extra lumberjacks, so he's just right now going to be waiting for the repair. But yeah, as long as the villagers are repairing and not gathering stone, that's exactly as if he was killing them. That's exactly the same for him. In Teal's base, well, another tower is going to be coming up, and it's actually going to be becoming a bit of a problem, I'm thinking, because he's already losing the farmers. Even though this is kind of terribly close to the TC farm, I'm thinking. I'm really expecting the TC could be killing it. Apparently doesn't want to actually waste anything. He did lose villager, probably going to be lose this one as well. It's going to be just a question of time. But yeah, what's going to be the next step? Because there is a defensive tower from BZH. And he would so desperately want to stop this gold. So he potentially could be about here. That could be a good spot. Maybe a bit more to the south. That could be really working for him. But he doesn't really see all enough in there. So he's not really sure probably what to do all that much. Blacksmith coming up. So apparently he's going to be hoping for a castle age. He's having 500 foot. But he's so desperately low. So desperately low on stone. He's having just 140. So there's like absolutely no way that he's gonna get castle in any kind of reasonable time for him. Defensive towers for Cito seem to be in pretty good numbers. And yeah, there doesn't seem to be any kind of idea. Oh. Oh. He does have loom. Oh, but the wolf is just gonna solve the problem. Yeah. That's that. That just happened. He was trying to sneak around, but he didn't count with the nature in there. And the one hit point apparently wasn't enough to kill a wolfie. So yeah, that's that. And you can already see that Cito is going to be joining onto of course the grey opponent, as he doesn't have all that much to raid inside Red's base, and he's going to be hoping that he's going to be having enough together with his ally BZH in Little Yo's base. Okay, so how's it looking right now in BZH base? So of course quite alright, because BZH is in the castle age and he's going to be switching of course in the knights, and they are going to be a lot more powerful against all those spearmen. And even though they do have the bonus against the horses with proper micro, which is exactly what right now BZH is showing, it seems to be working quite fine. And even the tower finished at actually not a bad spot. I'll be thinking it could have been built a bit more to the north. He wanted to be closer to the towers apparently. Is just now going to be resulting into the death of the tower and death of all the villages as well. They're just not going to be getting away, and that's it for this adventure with towers inside Teal's base. Nice attempt, but yeah, not really going to be working all that much. So Scout Cavalry from blue just now getting onto the gold mine, but apparently a bit too late, just a bit too late. So he could be having a bit of fun in there. Yeah. Just right now apparently talking in Flemish, because this is definitely not French for them. And we are looking at another squad right now, already knights, because both French are in the castle age. So yeah, he's going to be getting rid of those spearmen quite alright, exactly as BZH did inside his own base. And yeah, since this stone is not really guarded at all, it's going to be fairly easy for him to get rid of it. Nice micro, and it's definitely working for him quite fine. Red is just going to be losing all the towers in here, of course. There's not really any reason to continue thinking that it's going to be working. And oh, somebody is going for a something with villages. Is he going to be attempting another, I don't know, towers in there? It's definitely going to be stopped through the town center. That's not gonna work for him at all. VZH Knight's just going to be mopping up with the towers, but he doesn't really need to do that all that much. He doesn't need the stone. He needs just the gold in there. He does have extra stone at the top, so he doesn't even need to waste the time on that. He's just going to be following into of course, the Grey's base, and yeah, Grey's just now going to be losing, of course, all those gold villages in there. Blue Scout somewhere in the forest? What? What? I want to see that. What is he actually talking about? Not exactly sure. But yeah, in the meantime, of course, right now killing all the villages in that base. He has killed absolutely everything down to 15 villages. And what are those vills doing? Oh, they built themselves a tower in there. And they've palisaded it up so that potentially they can actually shoot at all those knights from blue. But yeah, it's already going to be a GG that is going to be called. A brave attempt. But unfortunately, since it was basically discovered at the very first moment that they actually attempted to build the tower, you could have kind of guessed where it would be going from there. So it's going to be French leading 3-0, as they are even with all the horses killing just the town centers, without even any need for a siege. So you're going to be aiming for the 4th game, and in the meantime, of course, achievements are going to be coming up. So Sito has the high score. Well, BZH wasn't really that far behind, but he was slightly strangled by the tower rush that was working for a whole lot better for Little Yo than from Genghis Sam. But in the end, it didn't really matter at all, as BZH was doing a great job on raiding his opponent. A Echo from Sito. Yeah, Genghis Sam, of course, was shooting himself in the foot quite significantly because of the lost villager time through the tower rush that wasn't working. Okay then, GG.